We live.
We're live.
Live. There we go.
What's going on, everybody?
Love.Runs.Deep in the building. What's going on, everybody? We're back in the building. So today's video is pretty much going to be how we overcame fear, or how to overcome fear.
Well, backtrack a little bit. Let's describe why we've been gone for a minute.
Well, yeah, but this is just the overall topic for this video. But like she said, yeah, there is some announcements we want to make real quick too. Pretty much the reason why we're doing this live video is because our editing software still is not working, unfortunately. We're still looking at solutions to how we can solve it, but for the time being, we just don't have the time to actually go and explore those options right now, but we have a plan. Hopefully we're going to be back up with like more consistent videos within a couple weeks.
Yep. But until then, we will do weekly lives to compensate for the lack of like an edited video on the channel. But not to waste any more time, we're going to dive into the video that the topic is about today. Hi, Manal.
What's going on? So yeah, by the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them below. DeRay will not be answering a lot of, well, she will be answering questions, but she won't be reading the questions. I'll be reading the questions today. And this video is going to be more like a interview, so to speak, because we're really diving into DeRay's mindset about really what it took for her to get to where she's at now. I know a lot of people have been asking DeRay specifically in the DMs, and they just want to reach out to her to find out, you know, how she came to this conclusion and what brought her there and what resources did she have. So we wanted to make a video that's going to pretty much outline everything as far as a general broad aspect of how she gained the courage to overcome the fear.
The fear of living the life that I chose for myself, right? Regardless of what society and, you know, the expectations that my family had from me.
Yeah.
I basically have 4 steps / initiatives, like whatever you want to call them, that I felt like was like a progressive, it was like a progressive evolution in my mindset that helped me achieve the life that I want today, which of course, like we're still in the process of living and growing and progressing in our personal life. But to even get to the point I am today, considering who I used to be, is like night and day.
Guys, it really is night and day. So it came out a long way.
Yes.
So if you want to go ahead and get into it, what are the, you said 4 things, right?
Yes,
4 things. Let's go ahead and start with the first thing that you believe is a resource, or what is required to overcome fear.
Okay, so in order to overcome fear, right, I feel like clarity. So I recently watched an interview with Tom Bilyeu and Patrick Bet-David on impact theory. And Patrick Bet-David literally like kind of summarized like my concept of what I was thinking. It's crazy that I watched the interview as I was trying to do my research for this video, because I felt like I needed to hear that at that time, because it just helped me gain clarity in what I wanted to tell you. So clarity, you guys, is so important in life. Like, you have to know what you want, because if you don't know what you want, people will tell you what you need. You know what I mean? If you don't tell, and that goes in all aspects of your life. That goes like in your career, that goes for your love life, you know, what else is there? Like any passions, any hobbies that you have.
So in a way, that's almost like goal setting, right? Clarity is knowing exactly what you want to have. Is that the same thing that you're talking about?
I wouldn't say goal setting, because clarity to me is more like for example, since a majority of our channel is like relationship based, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use it in that context. For me as a young girl, I grew up in a household, and I love my family. They're great human beings, and they did everything in their power to raise us, you know, in the best way possible. So I never take that away from anyone. But you can't deny the fact that, you know, growing up, when you don't see intimacy in the marriages around you, you know, it's like, for me, I was always like a romantic girl growing up. Like, love was very important to me, you know, and I think it's because when you see the lack of, when you see relationships that are in disputes, when you see the opposite of what is expected of a relationship, what a nurturing, healthy, intimate relationship looks like, when you see the lack of it, that's when you really realize what you want. You know what I mean? It's crazy that you almost have to see what you don't want in order to know what you do want. It's kind of like when you date people, you know what I mean? Like, it takes sometimes dating a various amount of people to decide what you do like in a person, and then what you don't like in a person, or what you wouldn't expect from a person.
Exactly. So you're just saying becoming clear on what you want. Is that what you're saying?
You do, right? And for me, there are certain characteristics I always wanted in my partner. You know what I mean? I wanted a partner that I could evolve with, that I could grow with, who is nurturing, who is caring, who is understanding, who wasn't egotistical, who didn't always want their way, because those are various things that I saw in the relationships around me growing up that I saw cause so much problems. Someone who would, like, in conflict, who wouldn't yell or scream, someone who's calm, who'd be willing to listen, to hear me out. Like, those little things, you'd be surprised. Like, when that's what you want in a person, as soon as you see a person who does not have that, you're like, oh, nope, that's not what I want.
Too much drama.
I mean? Too much drama. Like, it's too much effort. Like, you can't change a human being. You know what I mean? As much as people feel like they cannot. Only I can change myself. There are certain factors that can affect me, that can contribute to me changing in my mindset. But at the end of the day, it's my choice, So since I was a girl, I was really clear on what I wanted in my partner. I would literally, like, dream. Like, my dreams are powerful, you guys. Like, my situation at the time, like, my reality was so stressful that I couldn't wait to go to bed, because that's when I created my reality of what I wanted my future to be like. You know what I mean? So I would literally wait. Wow. I would pass the entire day just to go to sleep so I can imagine my life, the way I wanted it.
It's like visualization and everything.
Yeah, which visualization is very, very powerful. You know what I mean? But once I knew what I wanted, it's like nobody can tell me what I want. It's when Leonard came into my life, I'm not going to say like he was exactly what I wanted in that moment.
Definitely wasn't.
You know what I mean?
Wasn't.
But it evolved to become that way. In fact, at the time when I met Leonard, I gave up. I was like, on relationships. I had been through, a decent few through then. And I'm just like, these are not people that I want to commit to, who I want to live and grow with.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off there because we got clarity so far. I think everyone has a pretty good understanding about the whole understanding exactly what you want as far as qualities within a person to help you overcome fear. So what's the second resource?
It's not just over like a person, because for example, clarity is important, because when you have clarity of your life, you have to tell people around you that this is my life and you can't, this is your boundary. You can't step in and tell me this because this is something that I've already established.
Right.
Like, for example, before I was always never really sure, right? Like, I loved Leonard. I wanted to live my life with Leonard, but I was still kind of like on the fence with it. You know what I mean? So what I would do is I would look for other people to give me that reassurance that what I'm doing is right, right? So if I'd find a Pakistani person that I would talk to, right? And they liked my story, they're like, oh yeah, that's great. That would be like my form of validation. So I would seek validation from other people, and that's not the way to do it. No. You set the standard for other people. Like, this is my life. You can like me the way that I am, how I am, or you cannot.
But it shouldn't affect you internally.
It shouldn't, really shouldn't, right? Like, and it took me a long time to figure that out, because the culture that we grow in, right? Like, that we grew up in, what other people think means a lot. What they view of you, what they view of your family, like your actions that they take, they always seem to blame your parents because of the way that they raised you, which parents, you guys, I don't understand why people are not more forgiving towards parents, because they don't have the rule book to how to parent. You know what I mean? They're going through life just as anybody else is, and they do the best to their ability to help us, but they can only help us so much, because in our personal experiences, when we're at school, we're at our careers, like, there's only so much that they can help us with. Sometimes we have to look to other people's lives, we have to look to our peers. Like, you have to be more understanding of their situation, and they have to be more understanding that they can't help you with everything as much as they want. So basically the point that I've established now is I'm no longer insecure about that. So if I meet another individual who's from, the same religion, same caste as I, and I used to feel very nervous about telling them about Leonard and I, but I shouldn't, right? If I'm clear and I know that this is what I want in my life, this is my truth. So you either accept me for my truth or you don't. If you don't, then I don't need you in my life. You know what I mean? So
That's powerful.
It is. And then your family members, that's what it always comes back to, and people
what my
always
mom
ask
think,
about.
what my dad think, my
Yes.
sisters, brothers.
But like I said, you have to set the standard for your family, right? They obviously had expectations for me, which I definitely wanted to fulfill, but it just didn't end up happening. But what you have to get them to understand, and what unconditional love from family members is that this is the route that I chose in my life. This does not mean that I don't love you. This does not mean that I abandoned you. This is just what I need to do in order for me to feel happy. Because if I do what you want me to do, I will resent you, and I will resent my life, and I will make a lot of people unhappy in the process. You know what I mean? I can't be that big person that people want you to be in society, where you do all these sacrifices to live for a greater good. It sounds great in theory, and I thought I could be that person, but when reality sinks in, you can't.
Behind closed doors, it's just you and yourself.
It's just you and yourself. And if you have to truly be honest with yourself, you should always be able to be honest with yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, you can't live that truth. So you have to know what truth you can live with, and you have to set that boundary and not ever let anybody question your boundary. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by clarity. Know what you want. If this is what you want and this is what it is, people accept it as it is, or they don't. Like, it is what it is, you know?
Okay.
So
that's pretty good. Guys, do you have any questions with that real quick? Or anything that you want her to dive deeper into before we move on to the next tip that we can give you guys? Okay, so I don't see any questions so far, so let's go ahead and keep moving.
All right.
So what will be the second tip?
So the second tip, I would say, you guys, is reflection. So reflection was a very, very big part of my life, and still is a big part of my life. When I mean reflection, I mean reflection on your current experiences, on your past experiences, everything that you've witnessed growing up. For me, for example, in the realm of relationships, right? I grew up not seeing very many examples of healthy relationships around me, you know, and I would deep dive into thinking why. You know, when I saw an argument, I would think, like, how could this have been done differently? You know what I mean? Why is this person not seeing this person's perspective? Why is this person being blamed for something that's not even their fault? You know, what are all these factors that this person is thinking? Like, because when you're a child, you see everything, right? It's like a movie reel that's happening in real life, because nobody's asking for your input. You're just there watching, right? And as you're watching, and that's what parents don't realize. Kids see everything. Things that you don't even think that they see it. Because I knew from very, very young age what was happening around me, what that meant when someone was hurt. You know, I may have not been wise enough to, you know, dive deep into what their pain was, or, you know, all the other factors that went into it. But I knew when someone was hurt. I knew when there was injustice happening. You know, it was very obvious to me. So
as far as overcoming fear, how does reflection incorporate overcoming fear? So
by reflecting, right, you're able to understand. By reflecting and overcoming fear, when you see examples of things that you've witnessed, and you reflect on them, like, for example, if I see a scenario that's happening and I know that I never want to be in that situation, when I'm in my reflection zone, I always have to go back to that moment. And my fear has to help me think, okay, I never want to be in this situation. I don't want to be that person. Let me not do that. You know, that kind of reminds me of something that I hear a lot, which is Tony Robbins, where he basically says that humans are motivated by two different things. You know, the fear aspect and pleasure, fear and pleasure. Most people think that pleasure is what motivates people to take certain actions, but in reality, most of the time, fear is the stronger force. People do way more to avoid being uncomfortable and avoid the pain of fear and the emotion that goes along with that. So it's interesting that you say that. It is, but I almost want to take to that I don't want to be fearful. I want to do something because I fear it. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like you have to take that leap. Like, as far as like reflection goes, it's difficult for me because I don't want to share certain aspects of my life yet. Sorry, I said
Fear. I meant pain. Pain and pleasure. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you meant pain? I was like,
what? I meant pain.
Okay,
They
cool.
avoid pain, but yeah, that's the point.
So it's challenging for me to kind of figure out how I want to phrase this without saying too much.
We can come back to that point if you want to take some time to think about that.
No, I want to go through each piece like as it is.
And you have a cue card here, so this is just what I'm using to prompt her for this.
Yes. So, okay. So for example, my biggest form of reflection is done when I'm driving, when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm doing something that doesn't require me to be 100% present. It's just kind of like, that's my zone. I'm alone. I'm by myself. Nobody is around me. And so that's the time when I'm contemplating, my past experiences. What have I been through? What have I seen? How would I live my life differently? What do I want to do that could be better, that could be different? And that itself is a powerful tool, because when you notice how people live their lives around you and you know that that's definitely not how you would want to live yours, that is a catalyst for you to be like, that's your example. You know what I mean? And when you're reflecting, you're like, this is what I viewed that's happened over generation to generation to generation, and if you want to not get sucked up into that same, what would you call it? I would say lifestyle. At the end of the day, like, our culture becomes a lifestyle for us. This is what we're supposed to do. This is who you're supposed to marry. This is how you're supposed to live your life. Mm-hmm. This is how everything is supposed to be. It's a very linear path. So if that linear path you've seen over generations and over the relationships around you not work out, then that should be the fuel for you to do something different. Does that make sense?
I understand that. I get it.
How are you telling you understand that you do this?
I get it, but it's like, I just want to be more concise. Can you take a step back and then broad perspective, just summarize what you just said, just so everyone's clear.
Okay. So how is reflection a piece of overcoming fear? So reflection is a piece of overcoming fear because when you reflect on everything that you've seen and witnessed firsthand in your life, if anything that's consistently happened, like, for example, like marriages that you saw that didn't work out, or people who are in marriages and they're not working and people are still stressful and they're still stressed out, would you do the same thing? You know what I mean? If you know that this is the path that they took and these are the reasons why they took it and they're not happy, why would you do the same thing? Why not become smarter? Why not learn from other people's experiences? And through reflection is when you can really think about that, when you really hone in on that. Because as you're watching it happening, it's like it's happening. You're in the present moment. But later, when you sit down and you really dissect, like, what really happened, what all went into that happening, what decisions it took to come to that point, that's where you have to break it down. Like, okay, that's where this all started. Let me change that part so it doesn't trickle down to this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where reflection can become a really important piece.
So guys, if you have any questions, like I said before, the benefit of being here live with us is that you can access and we can answer them for you right here on the spot. Mm-hmm. So feel free, send a message below. Let us know if you have anything you want to touch on or clarify or anything like that. So we have the first one, which was clarity. Second one, which was reflection. Third tip that you can offer for the people here.
Third tip is reading and listening to podcasts. Mm-hmm. You guys, okay, I posted, I don't know how many of you guys follow us on Instagram, but
if you're not following us, guys, what are you doing?
You need to follow us on Instagram. But I posted on my story little paragraphs from a book that I found really helpful. And in the end, I was genuinely asking, was it helpful or was it, too much to read? And some people responded too much to read. And I find that funny because if you truly care about something, like if I need help, if anybody tells me this will help you, I will read it. You know what I mean? Like no amount of reading will hold me back from gaining a bigger perspective on that. So it's funny because I feel like people get in their own way. Like reading is so powerful. Books, the authors of books are people who have much more experience in that area than we can even imagine. I seek wisdom from people who've had certain life experiences, who've experienced more life than me, who've seen more life than me. Why would I not want to read about what they have to say? You know what I mean? We always feel like we know it all just because of the life that we've experienced and gone through, but we know nothing. This world is so vast, and we should consistently consistently be learning, be reading, be growing. We should never stop ourselves from that. And those pieces that I posted actually were very beneficial because in our culture, so when people ask me about our culture and our families, those pieces gave you an insight as to what our families were raised like, why they think the way that they do, and why it is absolutely necessary for us to be the catalyst for change. Because if we don't change it, it's going to just keep going. And it's up to our generation to take a stand, for what's right, and for standing up for our lives and the way that we want to live it. Not to say that we have to do it hurting anybody. If you don't have to hurt anybody in the process, that's great. But truth of the matter is, any strong-minded person who chooses a life of their own is going to hurt some people along the way, and then
you can't please everybody.
You can't. And that's something that we have to just be honest with ourselves about. And it's difficult because I was a people pleaser. At times I still am, you know what I mean? But I have to always take a step back. It's not my job to make these people happy. It's my job to stay happy myself. And in my happiness, find a way to provide service and happiness to others through what makes me happy, because you literally just can't please everybody. And those who will love you and they know who you are as a person, they'll follow you. You know what I mean? They'll understand. If they really care about you, and if you take a certain step in your life and you have clarity about it, and you're like, this is what I love, this is who I am, they'll love you for it too. It may take time, but they will. But you can only achieve that through reading, through encouraging yourself, through reading success stories of other people, through listening to people who are much wiser than you in certain aspects. I listen to Shetty a lot. His podcasts are so helpful. He interviews people from a variety of different backgrounds, careers, their success stories, their struggles. It's truly, truly enlightening to hear what they have to say and their perspective on life. And you may not agree with all of them, but you can take bits and pieces from their stories and see how it applies in your life and what you want to do with it.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why we have this channel too, guys, is because we want to be a resource for you all as well. So we know everyone's not going to agree with 100% of what we do, which is why we don't always like to give out advice, because everyone's situation is different. Everyone has different beliefs, but hopefully we can teach you guys something or help you experience what we've went through, and hopefully it helps you guys out. So.
And we never say, I always tell people this, I never say that the way that we approached this or the way that we did things it may not be 100% right, but it's our truth. And that's what we found to be the most right thing in the moment, considering the circumstance.
All the research that we've done, all the things that we've gone through. So that's a good point. So podcasts and books and personal growth, always seeking out advice and seeking out experiences from people who have hopefully walked within the path that you're traveling along. So.
And I have a couple books that I read.
A Failure of Nerve, right?
A Failure of Nerve, which I found through a friend, which actually I wanted to go back in reflection. So reflection, how I was mentioning how I do it through driving and doing miscellaneous things that don't require a lot of focus. Mm-hmm. I also did a lot of reflecting through people, through discussions with people from different backgrounds. I've talked to people from when I was a teacher, my principal, he's the one who recommended that book to me, A Failure of Nerve. Professors. I went in my professor's office and she was trying to help me find a school that I wanted to apply for and teach in once I graduated. And one thing led to another. She started asking more questions about me. And we eventually started comparing lives. And she was telling me how much she can relate to what I'm going through. And this is a Caucasian woman who grew up in the South. But she understood the expectations your family can hold of you. She understood that she went on a different path as well, and the reactions to it. We connected on so many levels that you would never outwardly think, this woman doesn't know what I'm talking about. She can't understand me, but we have to be much more open-minded than that. We have to have discussions with people, and through those discussions, through reading, through podcasts, that's when you kind of put together pieces of who you are and who you want to be. It's a little puzzle piece that you keep building and putting together. You can't just mash it together and it's just there.
Yeah. And one person here mentioned something. I'm sorry, I cannot read your name. Blackheart. He says, don't listen to people with negative feelings. And that is the key. It's when you are having conversations with people, of course, you're going to see the positive, you're going to see the negative, but you don't want to ignore the negatives, but focus on the positive solutions, guys. Don't let the negatives dishearten you, because really what it comes down to is just your grit and your perseverance to continually seek out the result that you want. And eventually you will get there.
Okay, so see, for example, this person says, in Pakistani, my boyfriend is as well. We both want to marry, but his family's Pathan and they're going against us and we're going through a lot. What is the best way to overcome what we are going through? Same exact thing. Clarity. If you know you're both Pakistani and you're still struggling. See, this is oh my God, this is what kind of throws me for a loop. There's always something, right? Like you're Black and Pakistani, people have a problem with that. They're both Pakistani. They're probably both the same religion, yet because they're from a different part of Pakistan, it's a problem.
Yeah.
People will always have a problem with what you're doing. Don't let them. If this is who you want to marry and he wants to marry you, you take a stand. You stand up to your family. Like, look, I love this person. This is who I want to be with. What you have to say doesn't matter at this point. I love you. And if you love me, if you truly love me as your child, you will accept this the way that it is. I'm tired of us, like, as children, our parents, we owe them our lives. That's what we assume. It's not that we owe them our lives, right? They gave birth to us. They nurtured us. They grew us up to, the ideal is for us to live our fullest potential, right? But they always continuously believe that we are an extension of them, that we owe them something, which we don't. In a family, we're meant to be our own individual people and come together and still love each other because we love who we are as people, not because of the decisions that we necessarily make or because of the people that we love. And ideally, if you love me as a person, you would have confidence that the person that I love has a reflection of what you've taught me. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's exactly what he is. He's not a person that I wouldn't be proud to show my family, like, this is the person that I love. You know what I mean? His character, his morals, his values, his belief, they're all in a line what I would imagine my family would like, besides the exterior things that they believe that don't fit, you know? So if you truly feel like this is who you want to be with, take a stand and be like, this is what I want. It is what it is. You know, don't fear other people and what they have to say. Honestly, it's just, they use fear to cripple you, you know, and life is too short.
It is short, guys.
It's meant to live. It's meant to have adventures. It's meant to make mistakes. If you make a mistake, it's your own. Nobody can tell you anything. You know, if you let other people decide your life, you're like, oh, well, look what you did. You ruined my life. I listened to you. Don't allow anybody, don't allow that to happen. You know, if you make a mistake, own it. Like, I did this, but I learned from it, and now I'm moving on.
100%.
You know?
100%. All right. So we have 3 tips so far. Let's get to the 4th one, and then we'll make sure you screen through the questions again and try to answer anyone's questions.
All right. 4th one is the most important one, I feel like. And I feel like every human being on earth needs this. And that is getting professional counseling. You guys, an emphasis on the word professional. Like, I am not a professional. He is not a professional. So when you guys ask us for advice on certain things in your scenarios, I always have like this little disclosure statement.
Anxiety too.
You know, because it's like, I don't want to tell you what to do, you know, because like, there's so much that goes into it. Like, there's so much stuff about your life I don't know. You know, there's so much stuff that goes on in your family that I don't know. I could be biased in some way, even if I don't want to be. So we're just not trained to give you guys that kind of advice, but seeking out help from somebody that is the best way to go, because they're unbiased, right? They're sitting there, they're listening to all the things that they've been through. They have the patience to listen to everything that you've been through. They have the ability to dissect certain aspects, to see what traumas may have caused your certain feelings. Like, it is truly remarkable how much they can really, really help you by not telling you what to do, but just helping you recognize certain phases in your life and what may have caused another, or what, if this is a certain memory that you really hold on to, how that could be affecting your current life, you know, in different aspects. Like, there's so much that they can help you with. It's absolutely surreal. And if you're in college, bro, that shit is free. Take advantage. Like, do you know how expensive counseling is once you leave college? So if you're currently in college and if you're going through some stuff, please go talk to a counselor, because they are truly remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're licensed, they're trained for this stuff, and your college provides it at no cost to you. So why not? I got lucky. Like, I just was like, I was at a point in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do. And after, it's actually funny, when I was talking to that professor, she's like, man, I probably should have like sought counseling a long time ago. And when I left her door, I was like,
yeah, she was blown away.
I was like, if she thinks she needs counseling, then maybe I should go. What makes me so great? You know what? I'm not that mentally strong. Like, I need help, you know? And I literally walked into there nervous as hell because I was like, man, this lady's probably going to be an American lady. She doesn't know what I'm going through. She's not going to understand anything about my culture, yada, yada. Like, all the skepticisms you can imagine I had. And I'm like, well, I don't got anything else to do, so I might as well try this. And it was literally the best decision of my life.
And she was American. She was African American, personally, but
she got me. She understood it, you know, and she understood what I was going through, and she listened more so than anything, you know, and that's truly, truly important, you guys, getting professional help, because in that room, you can say what you want, you know, those inner dark feelings that you feel like, you know, oh my God, if I told my partner, if I told my mother, if I told my sister, like, they would judge me so hard for it. They're not going to judge you for it. They're going to hear you out. They're going to go to the bottom of why you feel that way. You know, what caused you to feel this way? You know, why do you keep feeling this way? You know, it is truly, truly remarkable. I'm actually like, we were even discussing this. I think that's something that I think we should even go through as a couple consistently. Maybe not like every week or anything like that, but definitely like check-ins with a counselor to see where we are in our relationship. How are we growing? Are we evolving the way that we want to? Are we growing in aspects that we want to? Are we being mindful of each other's feelings, of each other's plans, of each other's goals? You know, especially in a relationship that's interfaith and interracial, things can get very tough, you guys. There's a lot of conflicting, I want to say conflicting. Mm-hmm. I would say there's a lot of different belief systems. There's a lot of different ways that our cultures perceive things, you know, that the other person may not understand. You know, it may have to take a third person party to be really
see the bird's eye view and
exactly
definitely help you see the bigger picture and the perspective.
So, oh my gosh, I would recommend everyone to get professional counseling. Parents, children,
your mama, your daddy.
Your mama, daddy, your granddaddy, everybody, like everybody needs at one point in their life, maybe not right now, but eventually, like if you're going through something, why not? You know, why not skip the painful aspect of it? And why not seek connection through somebody else?
Yeah.
You know, and clarity through somebody else. And through those sessions, it helped me be clear. Because when I left that session, I knew what I needed to do because she helped me figure out my clarity. You know, it's almost like that thing where you know what you want, but you don't want to be honest with yourself because it will hurt too many people in the process.
100%. And I have one tip too that's not on the card here. So this is tip 5, and this is for me.
Oh.
Pretty much, guys, we've mentioned a lot about the fear of everything. And I just want to say that this is a general law of the universe, apparently. So whatever, pretty much here. Okay, take a step back. Whatever you put your energy on will amplify and grow. So pretty much if you're focusing on fear and you're only thinking and putting energy towards fear, your fear becomes amplified and it grows. So I want you guys to take a focus on your actual result of what you want to have happen. Not the negatives, but really focus on the positives. Put your energy towards that. And I think that you guys will be in the direction you want to be.
Exactly. Put your energy towards your goals.
Towards solutions.
Towards what you want to achieve, rather than all the things that can get in your way of doing that. All right. But those were my 4 tips, you guys. Getting clarity on your life and what you want. Reading and listening to podcasts. Reflection. And getting professional counseling. And Leonard's 5th tip is like focusing on the positives. Like focusing on what you want, rather than all the things that can get in the way of that. You know, being a solution-oriented person. This is great in like even in your careers and your jobs, you know. Don't be like a negative person. Always try to be a problem solver. Be solution-oriented. Okay, so
asking better questions instead of asking, you know, why it's happened to me. Ask how I can overcome this. You know,
exactly.
Opening the questions that really get your mind turning to find solutions.
We were just with our friends last night, and they made, like, one of our friends made a great point. You know, a lot of times when even couples are like in conflict, you think it's like you versus them, but it's actually you two versus the problem. You know what I mean? So if you think about it that way, that little mind shift, you know, changes how you approach everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a you versus me, like I need to win or you need to win. It's
eventually
like,
your egos get in the way and it becomes a you versus him. But instead, it really should just be, hey, I know you're upset. I'm upset too.
How do we
Why
stop
are we
being
upset in the
upset?
first place? You know? So taking it that way. So let's go ahead and answer some questions here. Hopefully we got everyone on live still that asked the questions, first of all. We're just of people who are always hanging around negative. Yep, I'm married. My wife has some friends and family who are against it. I had to disassociate with them. Yeah.
You do. Sometimes
disassociation is
in space. I think space is crucial.
We call this limited association, guys. Like, you love them and you know that, you know, hopefully they have your best interest at heart. But if you're around people who are toxic, you gotta limit your time with them. Cut them off sometimes. Not to say complete disconnection, but you know.
And I think
sometimes necessary.
And,
it really is.
And getting space. So one thing that I think that my family, I would say, holds against me, right, is like I just kind of like, once the truth came out, I just kind of up and left. But what they don't realize is I didn't leave just because of him. He was my catalyst. You know what I mean? But there was much more factors that I wanted from my life and my independence that also fueled my ability, my need to leave, and my need for space. You know, if an environment, if a truth comes out, there's just too much going on. There's too much hostility, too much emotions, too many factors are taking place. You gotta separate yourself. You need to allow people to have this space to disassociate and really dissect what's going on. Because if you're constantly in front of them,
that's going to be stressful.
It's going to be stressful.
Stress is the worst thing that can happen in this kind of situation, because that just causes you to make bad decisions and it really can affect your health. And
it can.
That you don't want that.
And it skews your view of things. But when you're separate from someone and you have the space to not consistently worry about them, you really have the time to reflect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Family is hard to deal with, especially when it comes down to what they think is best for you. It is. And families are truly like amazing. You know, like parents, you guys, they want us to live a great life. Like all the expectations they set for us, the goal is for us to be happy, right? They're coaching us and teaching us a path that they feel like we will truly be our best selves in. But I feel like the disconnect comes in is that, you know, children, they're not always what you want them to be. You know, they have different desires, different aspirations.
Probably a whole side that you didn't even
know, you know, and not all, like, and unless you have a certain relationship with your parents, you know, it's just, you just don't know all that. Like that's why we have friends. That's why we have siblings. They know the true us, you know?
100%. You guys came a long way. Your situation, I guess, is easier with time and more persistent you are with your decision.
And further you get in life, regardless, all the best. Absolutely. Like, once you take that step, you guys, and you're like this, and you're clear on it, the clarity piece, I'm telling you, clarity is key. This is what I'm doing. It is what it is. We're going to take it as it goes, one step at a time.
Yeah. One thing that we actually did a lot was we stressed a lot about the end result. And like I said, the end result is great to focus on, but it came to a point where we're so focused on how do we get to here, right? Mm-hmm. And we're trying to figure out, okay, what needs to take place to make that happen? And it was just too big of a task, but we weren't focusing on what can we do right now that can help us get there. We're worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. So take things one step at a time. Mm-hmm. So counseling is great, coming from the person who has a master's in it.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I have no questions about that.
Lovely
couples. God bless.
Oh,
thank you.
Your husband is cute. Wish I could find a mature, cute guy who dresses nice, but sadly I only attract boys. And
thank you.
Well. Look,
you know, I know you're not the only one with that problem.
You attract what you put out there. So if you feel like that's all you attract, that's all you're gonna get. So if you can make a decision right now that I'm not going to attract this kind of person, and I will take the necessary steps that as soon as I see this as a red flag, boom, cut him off, let him go, throw him to the side. You know, there's a point where I feel like we contribute to what comes to our life. You know what I mean? So I truly believe, honestly, in the law of attraction. I wholeheartedly believe, you guys, that I manifested Leonard into my life. I'm not kidding. Like, people think I'm kidding or I'm exaggerating. I'm so dead serious on this. Like I told you, when I was like younger and going, like, my reality was pretty horrible. And I would wait to like dream at night. I would dream of what my partner would be like, how we would live together, you know, how our careers would be, what we'd be doing as a couple. And like,
I think you have to mention the part about color, though. You know, you didn't, unless you.
I didn't see color. No, I didn't. Like, I didn't. And you know, dreams are very vague. At least, like, it was like a certain image. Like, I wanted a person who dressed nice. You know, I wanted a person who took care of themselves, who was like well groomed, but never like exactly what culture or religion even that they should be, because at that moment in my life, color didn't seem to make a difference. People who were the same religion, same culture as me were hurting people that I loved. So I was like, why does it matter? You know what I mean? And I saw other people who were a different religion or a different race, and they were having a great relationship, you know? And then I saw the complete opposite, the same culture, same race, same religion, didn't have it. So like, over time growing up, people are going to argue with me on this and debate with me on it. And I don't care, because I'm clear in what I believe. I believe religion, race, caste, ethnicities to all be adjectives to our existence. If we find peace and clarity in that path, that's fine. But I don't have to find that equally, like that have to be the same exact thing in my partner in order for me to live a fulfilled life. Because then I feel like that just makes me a weak person. You know, if I have to be married to a Muslim in order to still feel like a Muslim, how strong of a Muslim does that make me? You know, if I have to marry a Pakistani in order to keep our race going and keep it going strong, like, that's not the point of humanity, you know? Like, this is a big old world with a bunch of different people. Why are we segregating ourselves and staying within this population? Like, what are we going to do? Create an army that takes over everybody else? Craziness.
All right.
It's easier. It's easier because you get where the other person's coming from, but easy is boring.
You get the real, raw, unfiltered DeRay when we do these live videos, guys.
You do. Sometimes I get scatterbrained, but this is who I am in real life. So.
All right. So we all have that invisible racism necktie. So let's take it off. In 2020, I extend my hand in friendship to all as a respectful Black man.
I had to sneeze. Okay, but wait. I extend my hand to you as well, sir. I've had my hand extended.
Appreciate the positivity. I love the positivity in this community, guys. Keep it up. Keep it up.
How is your relationship with your family now? It's getting better. Now, of course, I have to take certain actions in order for them to, like the last time that I went, we had an open discussion about what actions need to be taken in order for us to meet on a common ground, right? Which I'm totally okay with. I was just happy that we're even having an open discussion. You know what I mean? That's a long way from where we were 2 years ago. And the only reason why that happened and why I truly was so grateful is because they truly love me. You know, if they didn't truly love me for who I was, they wouldn't even consider this. They'd be so blindsided by everything else going on around them that they just write me off. But they love me so much that they don't want to write me off. They don't want to just get rid of me. They want to be a part of my life, and they're going to do not whatever it takes, but they're willing to meet me halfway, you know, and that's important. And that's what I mean by unconditional love. You know, it's still somewhat conditional, but I'm willing to meet halfway.
Yeah, so we definitely got some improvements there. Do you guys plan on having kids? If so, how many?
Not now.
Yeah.
Definitely marriage first. I'm very
we both want to have that happen first. And then we're not in a rush for kids. I'm 23. Almost forgot how old I was.
God.
About to be 24 in a couple months. She's already 25. How's that feel? I'm kidding. But yeah, we're taking our time with it. No, we don't really know right now. Maybe 2, maybe.
Yeah. And I want to reach a point in our life where I feel like, you know, it's time for us to raise kids. I know there's never like a true time people say, but I feel like that there is.
Some folks know when they want to have kids. I think at the right time it's going to happen. So.
And I'm very clear on when I feel like I want to have a kid. You know, I want us to be married. I want our families to have a good relationship. I want us to be in a space in our life where that child can grow up in a wholesome, healthy environment. You know, there's no financial stresses. There's no conflict between families. Like, our child deserves that,
Mm-hmm. Definitely want to make sure that we're not rushing that. My mother and I did have a close relationship due to her wanting me
to do what she wanted.
Sorry, this is kind of hard to read.
That's tough. They didn't have a good relationship because of the expectations that she held of him.
Yeah.
See, that's tough, you guys. I mean, my mom had a lot of expectations from me too, which I feel like because of that, I could have been in a much closer, deeper relationship with my mother if I was allowed to share like all aspects of who I was. But I mean, that's in an ideal world, none of us can be perfect. But I think if you want to maintain a closeness with her, and if she wants to maintain a closeness with you, despite your differences, one of you should take a step. And if you can't come to an agreement, then so be it. If she's not willing to see your side of it, you're not willing to see her side of it, you guys have to go to counseling.
It's probably the best thing we can advise you guys to do at this point.
Go to counseling. Figure it out, because you can't live without your family. You guys, you can't. Who said this? That was also in the book that I read. A person who has separated from their family can never truly be happy until they're reunited with their family. Family is very important, and it is very crucial for you guys to see a common ground, because that's when those are people that you spend like for me, like almost my entire life,
Yeah.
So it's important for me to have those people in my life, but in the right way, not in a negative aspect, but in a
so you can, love each other and
accept each other for how it is.
100%. Guys, do you have any more questions before you hop off live? I mean, hopefully I didn't miss anyone's comments or questions, but if I did, feel free to retype those real quick and we can address it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, guys, who wants the shout out for today's video? Because we need to pick out who's going to get that shout out.
We should pick it out from this live right now, because I really appreciate the people who took the time to come on.
Yeah, thank you guys for staying with us for this 45 minutes. I know it was supposed to be 15, 20 minutes long. I think we kind of got to our goal where we wanted to be concise with the content of the topic. Wait, that make any sense? You guys know what I mean. But we probably took the first 20 or 30 minutes to really address what the video was going to be about. And then
I
feel like
kind of dived into it later.
Yeah. And the reason why we're doing this, guys, again, is because our actual editor is not working. We're trying to get that fixed. And we wanted to still make videos for you guys, but we wanted the live video to be more straight to the point. So when people watch the what's it called?
When they rewatch it later.
Yeah, when they rewatch it later, it's not going to be just a bunch of lag time and not to the point. So thanks for staying with us here and bearing with us through this time that we're going through here. So this is a new question in here. When is your boyfriend going to connect with his family?
Oh, he's connected.
Yeah, I'm connected. Guys, my family is just not as tight as Dre's. I really wish it was, but to be honest, I grew up in a household where my mother and father divorced when I was about 5. So I grew up in St. Louis, with my mom and her side of family. And the unfortunate truth is that my mom's side of family, we're just not as close. I mean, my grandmother, my first cousins, we're pretty close. But beyond that, everyone else on the outside is just high-by basis, might see me in public, might say what's up, but we don't really have just that cohesive family. I wish we had family reunions and things like that, but
I know we love going to stuff like that.
Yeah, barbecues, all that kind of stuff. We just don't have a lot of them, unfortunately. Now in Atlanta, with my dad's side of family in Chicago and Atlanta, things are a little bit more close-knit and tight, but I just didn't grow up with them, so I don't really know them that well. And we do plan on going to Atlanta pretty soon. My little sister's down there, so we want to visit, and hopefully, if the timing is right, we can record everything for you guys and let you guys see my side of the family, because that's pretty. I will want to share that with you all.
I want to too. It's not that we don't want to. We definitely want to make it a point to do that.
Yeah.
And we've tried to in the past, but it just didn't kind of work out in that day, or the scenario didn't work out.
Exactly.
But he has a great relationship with his mother. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. His grandmother is amazing. His first cousins, Deshaun, his wife Brandy, they're amazing.
Yeah.
We're very, very close with them. But those are the main people, I feel like. And then his Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy is amazing.
My brother Demonte's here on the chat right now. He's saying, what about those up north? I didn't forget about you, man. I said Chicago too. I know you're in, I think it's Wisconsin right now. But we got to connect pretty soon. Yeah, we got to meet you as well.
I can't wait to meet you too.
So we're just so spread. We're so thin with our time right now because I'm full on in my career right now in real estate. She's a manager at what she does within Clinique. So we're really trying to make.
Trying to be consistent on this channel, along with all these other things that we're trying to evolve in our personal careers and our mutual careers. Like it's a lot, you guys.
But we're definitely going to make some time to
trying to build an empire here.
Of course, but we got to make sure we got time for family too. That's the thing. What I'm trying to say is that we want to make sure we still have time to visit my side of family because we visited a lot of yours this year. Not so much in mine.
That's true.
So we got to make that happen.
Let's make it a point to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, it was circumstantial.
I mean, guys, this is not a debate or anything. We understand what's going on. But like I'm saying, I want to make sure that I keep in touch with my family too. So we want to record that for you guys. Hopefully we coming soon. Hopefully.
Hey, breathe. Well, thank you. Thank you. I decided to get a little brighter. It's so gloomy outside. I was like, I need to I'm talking, spitting positivity. It needs to radiate positivity.
Hell yeah. Oh, and the good news, guys, is that DeRay has a new opportunity. And she is going to be doing some stuff with her job. You want to share that with them real quick?
No, I'm going to put it on Instagram here.
So go ahead and make sure you follow us on Instagram, Love.Runs.Deep, because we got some news coming up for you guys. And we already have, like I said, 2 videos recorded so far that we're just waiting to edit.
And they're so good. You guys would love them.
We're really excited about those, man. We are so excited.
But we're in the process of figuring out a solution for this software stuff, you guys, because...
Okay, so who's getting the shout out for today? Who is getting it? Who do we think? I want to give a shout out to actually Blackheart. That first comment, him giving that tip. Don't listen to negative people with feelings. Well, sorry, don't listen to people with negative feelings.
No, I like that too.
I like that a lot. Shout out to you, Blackheart. Anyone else getting a shout out? Who's getting it?
I would say DeMonte. Sticking through to the end.
Shout out to my big brother, DeMonte. We're going to come see you pretty soon. Or you can come see us. Hopefully we can come see you, though. Because I really want to get out of St. Louis pretty soon.
Shout out to Nafisa. I want you to have the courage to stand up for the love of your life and live the life that you want.
I missed that comment. Where's that at?
No, that's the one where she was saying they're both Pakistani. They're from a different part of Pakistan. So
shout out to you.
Shout out to Jamal. Talking about getting rid of people who are always negative and not associating yourself with them because
Mr. Jamal Davis.
I get a kick out of the last time you had your family with your sister was awesome. Like I said, she needs her own YouTube channel. She does, Ronald.
Man. If Sarah's got her own channel, you guys would think no. Okay. I will try my best to convince her to make a YouTube channel because she is hilarious and she's awesome.
She is.
But she's so busy right now because she's at nursing school. So
and working full time. So
yeah, she got her hands full. But
she does.
We love having her on the channel because she's such an awesome personality. Her entire family, honestly, they're so much fun.
Mm-hmm. They love you.
It's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
you guys. We're ready to hop off. We got much more to do today, but thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this helpful. I hope it kind of encourages you guys to kind of figure out your own path in life and kind of give you clarity on what you need to do and what you need to figure out and what actions to take in order to accomplish that.
Yeah.
But
hopefully we gave you guys some value with this video too and didn't go off on too many different tangents and it made sense. Otherwise, if need be, we probably can just recreate this video later on and make it more concise for those who don't want to have to watch the entire 50 minutes of this video here.
It's 50 minutes.
50 minutes long, yeah. But it's okay. But anyway, yeah, we will be doing more lives pretty soon. Like I said, the next few weeks, we're going to probably try to get down a specific date that we can at least give you a heads up. Hey, we're going to hop on live at this time. Mm-hmm. Just because her work schedule is a little bit, it's miscellaneous sometimes, a little bit different.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, very inconsistent. So, sorry, whatever. You guys know what I mean. But we will give you guys heads up. So make sure you follow us on Instagram because we make the announcement on Instagram first and then YouTube second. So just stay with us, bear with us. But thank you for the patience.
And thank you for tuning in. Bye. Love you guys.
Peace.